Well, a pleasant good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of the PR Man and the Coach talking ball on the Ballfather podcast presented by Sportskeeda. I'm your host, longtime host Reggie Roberts, former NFL communications executive, longtime professional sports observer, and we are joined by the Wizard, our wonderfully cool co-host, Walt the Wizard Williams. What's up, Big Walt? How we doing?
Oh, fantastic, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. You look nice and rested, and you look haircut high and tight. You look nice and rested, relaxed.
Nice and tan,
Nice and tan. Just got back from Montego Bay doing your thing.
Yeah, man. Had to hang out a little bit, just shoot the breeze and just hang out a little bit. So me and the wife stole a few moments and got away for the weekend.
Okay, well, that really sounds reasonable. Vacation with the wife, middle of basketball season, fans really waiting on us to give them the update. People who follow us on Sportskeeda.com trying to, they're waiting on us to give them the update, the inside scoop of what's going on. And then my co-host just disappears. Now, I get it. You saying you hanging out with your wife. Okay, I got it.
That's all. That's it.
But I have a different explanation. And my explanation has everything to do with that 120 to 100 beatdown your Kings suffered in Game 7 of the opening round of the Western Conference playoffs. That's what I think.
No, it wasn't that.
You had to go out of the country to shrink your head, lick your wounds.
Oh, man.
Is that close to get accurate or no?
Nope.
That's not accurate. Okay. Well, let's talk about some current basketball. Let's talk about we're gonna talk about your Kings in a little bit. But incidentally, and by the way, Mike Brown, I read, got Coach of the Year, which was well deserved.
Absolutely.
Obviously, based on the job he did. And I'll tell you what now, even all kidding and all fun and games aside, the fans in Sacramento should be very, very proud of the job Coach Brown did, and he should be very, very proud of the nucleus of great players, young players, who for the first time got their first taste of playoffs. What's it like in the playoffs, playing against a team that's been to the finals several times? They've won 4 championships. Talking about the Golden State Warriors. I tell you what, everybody's got to be really, really excited for that Kings team that's coming back.
Absolutely, they should be. The lack of experience reared its ugly head in that 7th game there. You saw just the experience in that second half of the Golden State Warriors take over. Everybody looks at Steph's 50 points, but to me, I point to Looney. Looney, the way he dominated the glass, the backboard in that second half, just giving him so many second and third opportunities. It was just about every possession, that they got that opportunity. So I thought that his offensive rebounding really got the team into a rhythm. Guys started to get hot because they were getting multiple opportunities, open looks. When you get offensive rebounds, I don't care if you're Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, whatever, you're going to get open looks because the instinct of the defense is to go and get the rebound. So right. If you get the offensive rebound, you're going to give up open looks. And to those guys, you giving up open looks to those guys, it could be deadly. And so, to me, that was the turning point of the game. Sabonis just could not keep him off the glass, and that was the difference. I thought that they fought violently, though. They were a team that gained a lot of experience in this series, and I expect them to come back next year and be even better, especially when it comes playoff time.
I think you're exactly right. I think this does nothing but help them. Give them confidence going into the next season. They'll go into the offseason with a lot of confidence, knowing that we took the defending world champions to 7 games. Okay, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, Steph Curry had one of those Steph Curry games. He had one of those games for the ages where he scored 50 points. Guys at MVP, Finals MVP, 4 titles. I mean, it's really hard to sort of replicate that experience if you've never done it. But to say that they got there, Steph, the longest playoff drought in sports. I think the fans of Sacramento got a lot to be happy about and should be looking forward to the 2024 NBA season.
Absolutely. You think about it, and you rewind back to that series, man. had Harrison Barnes hit that shot, hit that 3-pointer at the end of the game that could have won it for the Kings in that game 4, it probably would have been a different story if the Warriors were standing at 3-1, as opposed to 2-2. So,
right.
Hey, they were right there. There's no moral victories. You go into these series thinking that you can win regardless. Even though Sacramento was the highest seed, if they had beaten the Warriors in that series, there would have been an upset. Nobody was surprised that the Warriors came out of that series. So it was just the lack of them being healthy throughout the season where they were seeded. So, but the Kings had a fantastic season, and they played well in the playoffs to give themselves a chance to win.
Widget, let's switch gears to the Sixers and the Celtics series, which is currently tied at 1 o'clock. There's a game tonight, obviously, at 9 o'clock. I'll be up trying to watch that game. Embiid hadn't played in 2 weeks, tries to come back. Kind of some, the game the other night looked a little bit like a la 1970s, Madison Square Garden, Knicks, Lakers. I guess they were trying to kind of summon the whole Willis Reed comeback captain thing, and it fell flat. Okay, they got their back beat out. Jason Tatum shows up, has a big game. Sixers go down 121-87. But now we got some stuff. The next 2 games are going to be in the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. But there's a question as to whether or not the MVP is going to be there, because they're saying everything that I've read saying that Embiid's got a real serious knee injury, and if they don't have him, it's going to be a really, really tough sled to beat Boston twice, three times more in this series.
Well, he missed a few games and he missed a game in the previous series, and then that first game. So he had a few games and days off to rest that knee. When he came back in game 2, he had that brace, and I thought that I thought that he wouldn't play until game 3. I was shocked to see him come back in game 2, being as though they had win already. But when I saw him play, to me, I think the logic was getting used to playing with that brace, and they put him out there in this game so he can be ready when they're at home in a rhythm and ready to go, and not experimenting or getting used to it in a home game. So I think maybe that was the logic going there. Any other thing, I can't understand why he played in game 2 when they already won game 1. So.
Well, give us a little sense of what it's like, playing that long NBA season, and then, you get an injury like that. How hard is it from a physical standpoint when you injure a knee or an ankle, an arm, just any kind of injury? How tough is that to, rehab with the training staff a couple of days and then try to give it a go, knowing that you're not 100%? How hard is it? Is it harder physically or is it harder mentally?
Well, it's both. It depends on who you are. I think it's probably harder physically. Mentally, you understand what's going on, and you want to be out there. You understand the magnitude of the game, and so mentally, I think that you're in a frame of mind that you want to get out there so bad, and that you're putting in the work to put yourself in the best position to get out there. But physically, it's a difference between when you're hurt and when you're injured. And Embiid is injured right now, and right. So he's just trying to fight through it. But it is what it is, man. And when you're talking about a knee injury, the biggest thing is when you're sitting out getting treatment and you're missing games and you're missing days. When you have an injury like that, you're not keeping it in shape. You're not making sure your cardio is right. So when you come out in the game, normally that's the first time that he's been running or getting some win or some cardio in. So. Right. Just getting these guys are elite athletes. And so now you're talking about getting out there and physically, you're a little gimpy with your knee, but, cardio wise, you're not up to speed like you normally are. So it takes a minute to get back cardio wise in order to, that's why you saw Embiid, he played maybe 25, 26 minutes. He didn't play 25 minutes. And so I just think they were just trying to make sure that he can get his wind, get used to playing with that brace, things like that, so he can be ready when they playing at home.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in that series, because he's been such a dominant player, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on the podcast about how improbable it is for the guy to started playing basketball, organized basketball, when he was 15 years old, and to come from a place where they don't play basketball, Cameroon, and to become the player he's become. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but I'll tell you what, it's an incredible story. It really is an incredible story. Let's switch gears here and go back out west. Talk a little bit about that. The Suns playing in the Phoenix series. The Suns playing the sort of, it's looking like CP3 is not going to be able to go. And then the reports that I've seen are saying because he's got that left groin strain, that he's going to miss games 3, 4, and 5. So the Suns obviously are putting the plan in place, to be without him. Enter Cameron Payne, the surprise hero of the Phoenix's run to the 2021 NBA Finals. Tell me how hard that is. Was it for a guy who's been the floor leader, the general 12-time All-Star, CP3, sort of makes the whole show go, and then you replace him with a guy who's got some experience, who's done it, but he's not Chris Paul. How hard is that going to be for Phoenix?
Oh man, that's a serious obstacle. You rewind back to, you look at CP3 when he played with the Rockets and he had James Harden. Man, they were right there in that Western Conference Final, and they probably would have won a championship, but CP3 had that hamstring injury.
Right, yeah, the hamstring injury. That's correct.
Hamstring, those are not things that you fight through, man. You will absolutely injure those. They will get worse as you play on those type of injuries right there. So you can't do anything about a groin, hamstring. You can't do anything about that but rest. And so they are in the position they are in. I think this Cameron, he just got to make sure he's leaning on KD and Booker more. I think that Ayton, he has to be involved more. He has to do more. He's got 14 points in both games. He's shooting a good percentage, shooting 60, 70% from the field or something. So, he just got to get more looks. He got to be more aggressive to get himself going offensively, because on the defensive end, he is getting cooked right now.
Really is.
The Joker is having.
It smells like soup out there.
Yeah,
it smells like soup. Soup's on. He getting cooked.
It's unbelievable, man. And so, he got to get his confidence going on the offensive end and give Joker some work that way as well. So Cameron could do that. He can get him more involved. And he can spot shoot, hit his open shots. But I think that KD, Booker, Ayton, those guys got to step up more. You can't sit back and say, I want to rely on the others, my role guys, because they made that trade. They got rid of a lot of role guys that can come in there and do that to stack their star players. And so the star players got to put up star numbers, and Ayton is one of those stars.
Well, I tell you what, the numbers, the ESPN numbers, say that it won't happen. According to the stats. According to the stats, teams that take a 2-0 series lead go on to win the series 92.6 or 93% of the time. It's tough. The last time that Cameron Payne had to fill in for the CP3, he averaged 20 points, 9 assists, and Phoenix built a 2-0 lead over the LA Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. In Game 2, he had 29 points, 9 assists, 2 steals. So he's capable of doing it. He's capable of having a good game. Capable of distributing, getting the ball more in the hands of DeAndre Ayton. Ayton's got to step up. Ayton's got to start getting 18, 19, 20 points a game. And then KD's got to be KD. Booker's got to be Booker. He's got to play a little bit better defense for him to get back in it.
Yeah, Booker's been consistent offensively. KD, 24 points, 10 for 27 from the field. You take 27, you get 27 looks to get 24 points. That's not the typical KD game. And so, him and Booker can be efficient out there and put up major numbers. To me, I think Ayton is a guy who can score the basket as well. Cameron he's good in that pick and roll. So, they can make that happen. And so when you talk about guys who go down 2-0, it's a 93% chance that the team that's up 2-0 wins the series. So, if I'm Phoenix, that's 7%. So you saying I have a chance? That's it.
Right.
That's all I need. And so they are the team that can be at that 7% that can get it done. And so that's what this team has to believe. And they have the players that are dominant out there. In terms of KD and Booker, they can take over games. So defensively, they gotta be better. But I mean, it's going to be tough. Murray, I tell you what, Murray, man, that dude is looking like the old Murray, like back in the day.
Old Jamal Murray.
That dude, him and Butler turn something on when it comes to playoff time. But
he's shooting that thing from the parking lot, man. He just game one, he was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I'm in the kitchen. I'm hitting. I had it all in the kitchen. He's shooting that thing. I'm making. I mean, he making half court threes. It was sick how he was shooting that thing, man.
No rim.
No rim. None. Look like you out there a little bit, dog.
Hey.
Look like you a little bit out there, dog. Look like you. Anyway, let's go to New York and talk about what I think is one of the most intriguing series is the Knicks and the Heat. I don't care what anybody says. Basketball is better when the Knicks are playing well. I lived in New York for 7 years. I worked in New York, the league office, 1990 and 1997. And when the Knicks were going good, that's when they had, John Starks, and they had Anthony Mason, and they had Oak. Didn't nobody mess with Charles Oakley? What? Didn't nobody mess with Charles Oakley? Walt?
Sprewell, yeah, man.
Sprewell. They had Derek Harper was there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those were some really, really good. And they obviously the cap. They had Patrick Ewing. They had some really good teams. And the Knicks really hadn't been relevant for a while. But now that they kind of turned around, they made the playoffs. Stephen A. Smith's talking about them. They're relevant. They're in the news. The basketball is better at the Garden. Everybody wants to play at the Garden. And the Knicks kind of showed up the other night. Julius Randle, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the NBA, he showed up. He's nursing a gimpy ankle, but he gave him 25, 11, and 8 the other night. Big game.
Yeah.
With your boy Jalen Brunson. Talk about no rim.
He's true.
He was shooting that thing the other night. It's like that thing was connected to his hand.
So I played with his dad Rick up in Portland. Funny that Rick was a lefty, shot the ball. He wasn't so much. He was a point guard, but wasn't so much as a facilitator, but more of a shooter, scorer. His son definitely better than him though. But you can see the games are similar, man. But it's so cool to see him ball out like that and be consistent. Obviously Dallas made a mistake letting this kid go. And then you bring him there with Randall. The thing that I say is the Heat didn't have Butler. And they only lost that game by 6 points, with New York having Brunson, Randall, Barrett, So they have to be better defensively. I think that New York pounded them on the glass. That helped them get that win. They both were similar in the field goal percentage. So I think that if you add a Butler, their field goal percentage probably would be a bit higher. And so you're hoping that Randall, at each game that goes on, he gets more and more healthy. And so you hope that where it's going to be, the telltale is going to be what he can do on the defensive end. He can figure out ways to score offensively, being gimpy out there. He just have a lot of tools. But defensively, can he bring it? And that's the key, man, because the Heat, they have a lot of guys that can score. Spoelstra gives them a lot of confidence that the others can shoot it from wherever. And you see that in guys like Martin and Vincent. When Butler's missing, those guys just filling it up, and it's not a surprise. They shoot the ball well. They are aggressive. They've been that way all season. So Butler's the one who really takes control of things. But they have other guys that are consistent and that can get it done. You see Hero missing, and it's like you miss a beat. They bring Duncan Robinson off the bench, who's been sitting over there since who knows when. And he comes right in playing well. And so, that's a well-coached team on both ends. So I think that's the series that's the most intriguing. I don't know. I just can't tell who's going to come out of that at all.
I like the way the Knicks did two things. The Knicks shredded Miami's vaulted zone defense with shooting that basketball. They did great. They did a really good job of moving the basketball, making the extra pass. Guys were trading good passes, trading good shots for great shots. And usually at the other end of the shot, was either Brunson or Julius Randle. I mean, they were making extra pass, moving it around the horn, and usually you saw Brunson. He was like at the arc of the key. He was at the top of the key. He's shooting that
So
thing.
much poise, man. So much poise in this game, man.
Poise.
I mean, unreal.
That's a great way to put it. You're on with the PR man, the coach talking ball on the Ballfather podcast, presented by Sports Keto. We're kind of breaking down the NBA playoffs, so the key matches. Let's go back out west. Lakers, Warriors. Everybody when that whole series was announced, when the Warriors beat the Kings in Ranch, everybody's talking about, okay, now they get to go play LeBron. It's going to be Steph Curry versus LeBron. And the first thing I thought about when I saw it, because obviously the ESPN wants to promote two of the top stars in the league, but the person I think is going to be the key and has been the key is AD. AD is a difference maker. He's the anchor for the team. He's 6'10". He's a matchup disaster. He's a forward. He's a center. He's an eraser on the glass. He changes shots. He's been a little bit hurt, a little bit gimpy, but he had 30-20 out there the other night, Walt.
Oh,
30.
hey, let me tell you something. AD is the truth. So here's the thing. When we were talking about Philly and Boston earlier, Embiid coming back, man. Embiid can score that basketball, but the difference that he makes on the defensive end is something else. It was unbelievable to see him blocking shots like that, and it's the same thing, the impact that AD has for the Lakers. It's not just his ability to score, but on the defensive end, he changes shots, easy shots, routine layups. He changes those. He blocks those shots. He makes the guys miss. I thought that his biggest attribute last game was his ability to defensive rebound. Looney got 20 boards, but it wasn't as consistent like it was against the Kings. He wasn't, majority of those were defensive boards. He wasn't constantly giving the Warriors extra shots. And if AD can continue to do that and make Looney not a factor on the offensive glass, on the other end, Looney can't guard him. He's too quick. He's moved right past him, so he can't guard him on the other end. So it starts to make Looney look like he's hurting the team at times when he's on the floor when those elements are there.
Let me ask you something. I thought Draymond Green had an interesting comment. I want to get your take on this. I saw this the other day where he says, LeBron's playing a different role, and it's different seeing LeBron. He said. Because LeBron's playing more off the ball. It's a new dynamic that the Lakers have added to his game. And he said it's not something that they're all used to seeing. They're used to seeing LeBron bring the ball up. The whole offense goes through him. He's sort of, he takes shots. He's sort of facilitating. But now he's playing off the ball. He said Draymond called it a weird phenomenon. I said it's weird to see LeBron in that role now. I mean, roles, as guys get older, guys play 20 seasons. Your role evolves. He's still LeBron, for crying out loud. What do you make of that?
So, a couple of things that happened in that Warriors game. When LeBron got the rebound, he was like a bull in a china shop, man. Pushing that ball, getting to the basket. It was unreal. Defensively as well, dude was blocking shots. Just all over the place. I got to take my hat off to the Lakers. They played a solid defensive game as well. That dude Vanderbilt, he was unbelievable out there. I don't even know who that is, man. That dude was all over Steph, man. He made it tough for him. He did. He's a heck of a defensive player, man. So if he can keep that going, they could be solid there. But you hit the nail right on the head, man. So many years in the league, when you bringing that ball up, ISO in all the time, I mean, that wears you down. Right. I need to just run on this wing and chill a little bit and let you do your thing. And then when you give it to me, bam, I can just go. Not simply bringing the ball up, having the defense push up on me 94 feet and I'm working. He don't need to do that anymore. He can just sit on the wing and I think the others are balling out too. You talk about Reeves. Reeves has been playing really, really well, man. Schroeder, he's a clutch down the stretch, and so guys like that. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think that if the Lakers can keep dominating in the paint like they were, the Warriors shot the lights out from the 3-point line and still lost.
They really did.
I just think that it'd be tough. I don't know if they could duplicate that again, and I think that the Lakers, if they can continue to defend the way they were and score in that paint, I think they can make it tough.
All right, well, let's go back. Let's do some picks here. Let's go. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go who we like in this year. I'm gonna go. Let's go Sixers Celtics. Who do you like in that series? Finish ahead.
I like the Sixers, man. I like the Sixers here. I think Embiid is going to be a handful for them throughout this series, and so I think I'm gonna go with the Sixers in an upset, and I think it'll go 7 though.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, I think it'll end at 6. I think Sixers and 6.
Sixers and 6. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go Celtics. I'm gonna go Celtics in 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Sixers. Suns and Nuggets. Who you like?
Oh man, who I like or who I think? Because I like the Suns. I want the Suns to win, man, but I don't see it. I got binoculars on and I can't see it.
I think the loss of CP3 is too great. I think fans are gonna have to wait until next year to see the whole CP3. Booker and Durant experiment when they're healthy. I think it's going to be too much for them. I'm gonna go
in 5.
I'm gonna go Nuggets in 5. Exactly. You like Nuggets in 5?
Yep, Nuggets in 5. I think they get 1 at home.
Yeah,
Suns do, and then that's it.
All right. What about Knicks and Heat?
Oh man, let's go Lakers Warriors. Let's come back to that one right quick. Lakers Warriors. I'm going with the Lakers. I think the Lakers can do it. I think the Warriors is more talented. I think Warriors have the more talented team, but I think the Lakers have, when you talk about the top, I think that LeBron, AD are the best players on the floor. Then you have the next 4 is Steph, Clay, and the next 4 or 5 is the Warriors. So that's why I say I think the Warriors have the better team, but I think the Lakers will win that because their top 2 guys will carry them through.
You like Lakers in 5?
I think that series goes 7. I think
goes 7. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna go Lakers in 7 as well. Okay, and then Knicks and Heat. I'm still. The Heat are a different team when Jimmy Butler plays. They're a different team. But you know what? I'm gonna go out on the limb here. I'm gonna go Knicks, and I think it's gonna go 7.
I'm going Heat 7, man.
You going okay? All right.
Butler is it. Hey, by the way, the last series, Heat in Milwaukee, that last play that sent it into overtime, man. See, I think that Butler gets a little bit of that sprinkle juice on him when it's playoff time, man. If you look at that last play, he 2-hand pushed Connaughton right in the chest, pushed him right to the ground, and then caught that alley-oop and put it in. And they didn't call him anything.
They called nothing. They
play ball, man. Game time.
Yeah. We finished it up with the PR man, the coach talking about the Ballfather podcast, Cinematic Sports Kid. I wanted to just finish up on something we talked about a lot during the season, and we talked about how Joel Embiid, we thought, you and I thought pretty early that he had an MVP season. I think the voters came, he won 73% of the vote, got 73 of 100 first place votes to edge Nikola Jokic out of for the Kia NBA MVP award. And congratulations to him. He had a great season. Offensively, had a great season. He rebounded, he blocked shots. But I think the one thing that needs to be sort of recognized is, and I think it's very, very important, especially for young people who follow the NBA all over the world and who follow the game. Embiid was self-made. Okay, he didn't start playing basketball until he was 15. He's from a place where they don't really play a lot of basketball. Didn't play on an AAU team. Didn't get the training and the schooling that a lot of high school young men get, both in high school and college. And the fact that he has become the player that he's come from where he's come from, is a testament to his tenacity, testament to how hard he works, to tenacity of him willing to basically learn from those who've helped him. And I think one of the main things about it is, James Harden, gave him a Rolex watch with the MVP 23 on it and said, this guy's worked, he's earned it. He works hard, he's the first one in the building, he lets his teammates help him, takes constructive criticism, and I'm really excited when guys like that win and do amazing things.
Yeah, you said it, man. Desire, humble, work hard, man, because you need all of those to function together. When you have a desire to make something of yourself, it's nothing like that. you know, and when you can humble yourself and be able to listen to people and not think, even when you're growing, even when you're receiving accolades or what have you, to be able to humble yourself and still understand that I have some growth to have here. I want to learn. And you know, just being able to work hard. You cannot achieve the success that he's had in that short period of time. You're talking about starting playing a game at 15 and the success that he's reached, and is probably 15 years or so or less. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it's definitely a testament to his work ethic. People tend to gravitate to how he talks so much and things like that, but you know, you don't see this part. You don't see there's no way you can make that far of a leap without those three things being a part of that. And so that's a testament to this guy. I never thought it was close. I thought he outplayed Joker all season when everybody was thinking that Joker was the guy. I thought, you look over here and Embiid, he's been steady along, just cooking. And I thought he was the most consistent all season. You know, led the league in scoring for the past 2 years. I mean, this guy is very deserving of it. He does it on both ends. He affects the game tremendously on both ends. So, you know, hat off to him, man. I'm happy for him that he finally got that.
Wizard, you nailed it. I mean, I don't even think it was even close. 73, it should have probably been 93 to 100. To be honest, we're gonna call it honestly. It probably should have been 93 to 100.
Right.
I mean, you know, like I mentioned earlier, yeah, it should have been 93 to 100. I mean, this guy did all the work, and he put in the work, made guys around him better. I mean, the Sixers wouldn't be in the playoffs. It wouldn't be there without him. And I think he, you know, based on the fact that he worked hard and earned this more, probably should have won it last year, but they got it right this year.
Yeah, I thought he should have won it last year, but hey, they got it right this year. Like I said, I thought he was clearly MVP from early on in the season before it was even All-Star break. I thought that he was clearly showing it by then, started separating himself from that point early on in the season. So he was consistent throughout the whole season on both ends, and you know, even in that last playoff game, he was not in his offensive rhythm, but man, defensively, the way he was able to affect the game, move around, I mean, it was unbelievable to see how many the shots he blocked, and the way he was doing it. Seemed like guys had easy layups, and then he'd just come right there and erase them things. So I'm interested to see. I'm excited to see him coming back home. I think he'll be more energized, and I think he'll have more of an effect on the offensive end. I think James Harden, you know, he's received so much criticism throughout his career. I'm hoping that he can get him a championship ring and put it all to rest, man, because he's just a terrific player. I think if he gets a championship and you rewind back and you look at the stats that he put up throughout the league, I think you'll respect it a lot more.
We're going to leave it right there, Wizard. Hey, man, listen, thanks so much for joining us. You know, I'm looking forward to getting back on the phone next week and talk to our audience, and we'll sort of narrow it down. We'll pick who's going to be in both Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals, and then we're going to go on the limb and pick a winner.
We're going to win it all.
Win it all. So now that you back and rested from Montego Bay, take a look at it, you know, and then we'll be back next week to talk about it.
All right, man. I read.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, Walt.
All right, buddy. Yeah.